Hi, grade 6. This is the math lesson for lesson 5-4. If you look at page 210 and 211, there's a number of different topics that need to be talked about. The first one is, how do we change a fraction into a decimal number? Look at the bottom of 210. And in there, you'll see there's a couple methods that they use. The first method is long division. If you had a fraction like 1/4, you would take the top number, 1, the numerator, and you would divide by the bottom number, 4, the denominator. And when they do that, they get 0.25. They did the same thing with 5 3/4. You'll notice they split apart the 5 and the 3/4 because they only worked on dividing 3 by 4 to come up with 0.75. They then added that to the 5 to get the decimal number of 5.75. We'll talk about that a little later. You can also do this on a calculator. Just simply 1 divided by 4 and then press the equals button and the answer will spit out. Top of the next page, they talk about something called terminating decimals and repeating decimals, and then they also talk about something called bar notation. I think you've had repeating decimals in the past in 5th grade. Terminating and repeating decimals are decimals of two different types. A repeating decimal is one where it just keeps going forever and ever and ever, like 0.22222222222, and on a calculator screen it would fill up the entire screen with 2's. A terminating decimal is a decimal where when you do, say, the long division of 1/4, 1 divided by 4, you get 0.25. It ends with the 5. There's no more numbers after the 5. That's terminating. Bar notation, that's the way we identify repeating decimals, by putting a bar above the top of it. So let's take a look at some problems here. First of all, what if we were told to churn this into bar notation? What if we were told to churn this into bar notation, or write it as a repeating decimal with bar notation? For this one, it would be 0.63. The 3 is the only part that repeats. The 6 is not repeating. So notice I put the bar over just the 3, not the 6, because the 6 is not repeating. This one, slightly different. I would write it as 5.13. And this time the bar goes over both numbers because it's 13, 13, 13, and then it keeps going forever and ever. This one, can you see what part of it is repeating? It's a repetition of 470, 470, 470, 470. And so I put the bar notation over the 4, the 7, and the 0. With this one, it's just plain 0.7. with a bar over just the 7. What's repeating in this number? It's just the 4. So we'd write 4.824 with the bar notation over just the 4. How about this one? This one's a little tricky. 5614, 5614, 561. Does that freak you out that I didn't write the 4 there? But notice it's got the 3 dots, which means keep the pattern going. So we're going to include the 4 underneath the bar notation. It is the 5, the 6, the 1, and the 4 that keep repeating. I could have just written this and then ... Okay, let's move over here to some other problems. How do we change fractions into decimal numbers? Let's start with 2/5. Top number divided by bottom number. 5 goes into 2, 0 times. But if we add a 0 and bring it down, 5 goes into 20, 4 times. And we are done. This is 0.4. It's a terminating decimal. We don't need a bar over the top. Let's go to this one. I'm going to write 3 point because it's 3 and 5/8. And now I'm going to figure out what the 5/8 is. 5 divided by 8. 8 goes into 5 0 times. But if I bring down the 0, 8 goes into 50 6 times. Bring down another 0 after I do the subtraction. 8 goes into 20 2 times. Bring down another 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. And we are done. 3.625. Next one. 5 ninths. 5 divided by 9. Heads up on this one. This is going to be our first one where we're going to have some repetition going on. 9 goes into 5 0 times, but it goes into 50 5 times. Hey, do you see that? 50, 50, 50. It's just keeping on repeating with those 5s, isn't it? So this is 0.5 with bar notation over the 5. Let's go to this one, 1 and 5/6. I'm going to write 1 point, and then I'm going to do 5 divided by 6. 6 goes into 5, 0 times. But what does 6 go into 50? How about 8 times? Don't forget the decimal point. Bring down another 0. 6 goes into 20 3 times. What is 6 times 3? 18. Uh-oh, look at that. I'm starting to repeat. See that? 20 and 20 and 20. It's going to be a 3 again. And so 1.83, and the 3 is the part that repeats. The 8 does not repeat. It's just the 3. So bar notation there. How about the next one? 1 divided by 8. Top number divided by the bottom number. 8 goes into 1 0 times. But it goes into 10 1 time. And it goes into 20 2 times. And it goes into 40 5 times. Exactly 5 times. We've got a remainder of 0, but you can't see it because I didn't push the screen down. So 0.125. 0.125. How about this next one? 3 divided by 5. 5 goes into 3 0 times. 5 goes into 30 6 times. Don't forget the decimal point, 0.6. Oops, forgot to write the 30 and the 0 in, but hopefully you could see that. Next row. What do we got up there? 7/11. 7/11s. 7 divided by 11. 11 goes into 7 0 times. But it goes into 70 6 times. 6 times 11 is 66. Get a remainder of 4. 11 goes into 40 3 times. Got a 33 there. Bring down another 0. It goes into 76 times. Do you see what's happening? We're going to end up with some repetition here. It's going to be 63, 63, 63. So 0.63 and bars over both numbers. Both numbers. Let's do the next one. 7 divided by 32. 32 goes into 7 0 times. But it goes into 70 2 times, because 2 times 32 is 64. Bring down a 6, or remainder of 6, goes into 60 once. Oh boy, this is going to be a weird one, I think. 28 is my remainder. Let's bring down another 0. How many times does this go into this? I think it's 8 times. 16, 1, 256, with a remainder of 24. Let's bring down another 0. 32 goes into 240. Oh boy, wow. How about 7 times? Yep. 16's my remainder. Whew. How about, oh, guess what? We're finally there. It's 5 times, because 32 times 5 is exactly 160. There's our remainder of 0. So, that was a long one. 2, 1, 8, 7, 5. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, let's move on. Next one's much easier. 1 divided by 20. 20 goes into 1 0 times. Let's bring down another 0. 20 goes into 10 0 times. Let's bring down another 0. 20 goes into 100 5 times. There's our remainder of 0. 0.05. How about the next one? We're going to write 1 point, and then we've got to figure out what 3/20 is. 20 goes into 3 0 times. But 20 goes into 30 1 time. Bring down another 0. 20 goes into 100 5 times. Yay! Remainder of 0. So 1.15, because we put that 15 at the end. 1.15. Okay, I'm going to tell you these. This one is 0.75, and this one is 0.6 repeating. If you don't believe me, work them out yourself. This one's terminating, this one's repeating. Terminating, 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 this one's repeating. And then over here we got terminating, terminating, repeating, repeating, terminating, and terminating. Right? Okay, now how do we change decimals back into fractions? That's the next thing to think about. Well, let's think about place values. Let's start with this one right here. Isn't this the 10th place value? Right after the decimal point is tenths. Tenths. So we could write this as 1/10. Done. Can we simplify it? Nope, it's already in simplified form. This one up here is in the 10th spot, but it's also in the 100th spot. So we call this 22 hundredths, which can simplify to 11/50ths. So this one is 11/50ths, this one is 1/10. What about this one? This is 4 and 6/10. 4 and 6/10. So I could write it like that. 4 and 6/10, which would simplify to 4 3/5. How about the next one? It's occupying the 10th spot and the 100th spot, so that's 78 hundredths. If I divide those by 2, I get 39/50ths. Next one, occupying the 10ths and the 100th spot, that's 33 hundredths, and can't simplify that at all. Last one will be 2 and 51 hundredths, because I'm occupying the 10th spot and the 100th spot. And that's in simplified form already. Hopefully this helps you. Thank you.